In the rich and winding labyrinth of Greek mythology, some names echo louder than others. Heroes, gods, monsters, their stories ripple through time, often distorted, dramatized, or diminished, and somewhere between tragedy and terror stands Medusa, a figure feared by many, known by all, but truly understood by few. She is remembered as the Gorgon, the serpent-haired creature whose gaze could turn men into stone, a monster, a villain, a cautionary tale. But peel back the layers of myth and you'll find something much more human and far more tragic. Before she was a monster, Medusa was beautiful. In fact, so beautiful that even the gods took notice. She was the only mortal among the three Gorgon sisters, daughters of Perseus and Ceto, primordial sea deities, while her sisters, Steno and Euryale, were terrifying from birth. Medusa was said to possess an earthly grace that outshone even the Olympians, with flowing golden hair and a gaze that softened even the hardest hearts. Medusa was admired by mortals and whispered about by the divine. Her beauty became a subject of both reverence and jealousy. Yet, she remained humble. Medusa chose to serve the goddess Athena, dedicating her life to purity and discipline within the sacred walls of Athena temple. As a priestess, she vowed chastity, not out of fear, but out of devotion. She believed in Athena's wisdom, in her strength, and in the sanctity of her temple. But the realm of gods is a cruel stage, and admiration often curdles into obsession. Poseidon, the god of the seas, was one of the many who became captivated by Medusa. But unlike the mortals who worshipped her from afar, Poseidon was not a man accustomed to restraint. What he wanted, he took. One fateful day, he entered Athena's temple, not as a guest, not even as a god, but as a predator. In the very sanctuary where Medusa had offered her prayers, Poseidon forced himself upon her. It was a violation of her body, her faith, and the sanctity of the temple itself. But perhaps even more devastating was what came next. Athena, enraged at the desecration of her sacred space, did not turn her fury toward Poseidon. The sea god remained untouched, unchallenged, unpunished. Instead, her wrath fell upon Medusa. Some say Athena acted out of wounded pride. Others believe she saw Medusa as the cause of the defilement, an impure priestess, no longer worthy of service. Whatever the reason, the punishment was swift and merciless. Athena cursed Medusa, her radiant hair twisted into hissing snakes, each one a living reminder of her punishment. Her gentle eyes, once admired by many, were now cursed. Anyone who met her gaze would be turned to stone. From that moment, Medusa could no longer walk among mortals or gods. She fled to the ends of the earth, to a cave at the edge of the known world, where she would remain in solitude. There, her legend grew, not as a victim, not as a fallen priestess, but as a monster. She became the subject of fearful stories, whispered in the dark to frighten children and warriors alike. Her name became synonymous with danger, her image twisted into a symbol of pure evil. But in truth, Medusa was alone. Cursed, yes, but more so abandoned. Condemned not by her own actions, but by the pride and cruelty of gods. Years passed. Her cave became a symbol of forbidden danger, until one day, a young hero named Perseus was sent to find her. He was not driven by justice. He did not seek to end a curse. He was tasked with a mission to bring back Medusa's head as a trophy. But Perseus was not alone. The gods, as they often do, gave him tools to ensure his success. Athena provided her reflective shield, so he wouldn't have to look Medusa in the eyes. Hermes lent him winged sandals to fly. Hades gifted him a helmet of invisibility, and he carried a blade sharp enough to sever a goddess's will. When Perseus reached Medusa's cave, she was asleep. There was no battle, no confrontation, only a flash of reflected metal and silence. Her head was severed in a single strike, and even in death, Medusa's power endured. Her gaze could still turn flesh to stone. Perseus carried her head in a bag, using it to defeat monsters and petrify enemies. She became not just a trophy, but a weapon, a divine tool of destruction. Athena, ever calculating, affixed Medusa's head to her shield, the Aegis, making it a permanent emblem of fear and divine retribution. And so, the woman who was punished for being violated, who was cursed for a crime she did not commit, whose solitude was mistaken for savagery, became a symbol of divine terror. But her story doesn't end there. Some myths say that from Medusa's severed neck sprang Pegasus, the winged horse, and Chrysaor, a golden warrior, children born not from love, but from the death of their mother. Even in her final moments, Medusa gave birth to legends. And perhaps that is what she truly became, a legend, not a monster, not a villain, but a reflection of how societies silence the voices of the wronged, a warning of what happens when beauty is punished and power protects only itself. Today, Medusa is more than a myth. She is a symbol reclaimed, of pain, of rage, of resilience. And when we look upon her story with open eyes, not to fear her, but to understand her, we may find that the real monsters were never the ones with snake hair, but those who turned away and stayed silent.